When they called my name, I had this feeling I could hear half of America going, oh no. Oh, come on, why? Her.
For many legendary Hollywood actors, maintaining a successful family life while building a thriving career is nearly impossible. One exception to the rule was the family life of Meryl Streep and Don Gummer. Meryl Streep and her longtime husband, Don Gummer, have been married for 45 years, and news broke this weekend that they have actually been separated for 6 years. Despite maintaining a record-breaking career in cinematic history that spans over 5 decades, Streep has maintained an enviable and private relationship with her husband. Until recently, a scandal that has stunned many people in Hollywood has just been revealed about this longtime couple. What really happened between Meryl Streep and her husband? Join us as we dive into the details. What happened between Meryl Streep and Don Gummer? In 2023, fans of the legendary actor Meryl Streep received shocking news. The famous actor was getting a divorce from her husband of over 4 decades. This news hit hard, as Meryl Streep and Don Gummer had long been seen as proof that one could have a successful career and a happy home at the same time. As the rumors of the divorce circulated, many fans hoped it was just fake news spread by mischievous people. However, their hopes were dashed when a representative of the star actress confirmed the news. The representative gave an official statement on behalf of Meryl Streep to People magazine, confirming the divorce. After 45 years of loving companionship and 4 children, the romance was over. The statement further revealed yet another surprising detail. While the world was just coming to terms with the shocking news of the divorce, there had been much going on behind the scenes. Streep dropped the bombshell that she and Don Gummer had actually been separated for over 6 years. Don Gummer and Meryl Streep have been separated for more than 6 years, and while they will always care for each other, they have chosen lives apart, the statement read. This revelation caught everyone by surprise. The two had revealed little to the public about their relationship over the years, so the big news of their separation and divorce came as a shock. They were never known for making public appearances together, even when Streep attended award shows for her work. Gummer rarely accompanied her, which made it easier to keep their separation under wraps. There has been much speculation surrounding the news of the end of their marriage. Some have wondered whether their long periods of time apart contributed to the split. Like many celebrity partners in high-profile marriages, their careers demanded much of their time. Busy schedules, frequent travel, and long periods apart can create emotional distance over time. Differing career trajectories and ambitions can lead to diverging lifestyles. Some Hollywood couples find ways to navigate this, while others grow apart due to mismatched priorities. Streep's demanding film career often required her to be away from home for extended periods, while Gummer's career as a renowned sculptor also meant a lot of family time was sacrificed in favor of studio time. Could this have led to the divorce? Others have speculated that they simply grew apart over time, as happens in many long-term relationships. One thing, however, is certain about this star-crossed couple: they agreed on keeping their family lives private. The way they handled their separation and divorce reflects their private and respectful approach to their relationship. Unlike many Hollywood breakups, there were no messy public disputes or drawn-out legal battles. The two simply reached a quiet agreement to live separately while still caring for each other. A source close to the couple told People magazine that there was no drama behind their separation, reinforcing the idea that it was a mutual and gradual decision. Marriage is a complex relationship, and adding fame to the equation increases the strain. Decades together mean evolving personalities, shifting priorities, and external pressures. As if that were not difficult enough to navigate, public scrutiny magnifies even minor issues. Tabloids are always on the lookout for personal struggles, as these are essential to their platform. Even the strongest couples can struggle under the weight of constant attention and expectations. Another factor to consider is that longevity in marriage does not always mean compatibility remains unchanged. What worked in the early years might not be sustainable later. The dynamic of a relationship evolves, and if partners do not grow together, they may feel disconnected. Many long-term couples cite this as a reason for their separation, realizing they have become different people than when they first met. Meryl Streep and Don Gummer are not the first long-married Hollywood couple to grow apart after spending decades together. Similar breakups, like those of Jeff Bezos and Mackenzie Scott, Al and Tipper Gore, or Arnold Schwarzenegger and Maria Shriver, show that even decades of love and commitment do not guarantee a forever bond. Some part ways amicably, while others experience more publicized conflicts. Despite the surprising ending to their marriage, the story of how the couple met is yet another fascinating one. The year was 1976, and Meryl Streep was deeply in love with her boyfriend of 2 years. No, it was not Don Gummer, his name was John Cazale. John was an American actor, and the two met in 1976 while working together in a Shakespeare in the Park production of Measure for Measure. They quickly became inseparable, moving in together in a cozy little apartment and supporting each other's careers. He was at the prime of his career, having featured in 5 popular movies that were nominated for the Academy Award for Best Picture in the last 7 years. Some of the films he worked on included The Godfather and Dog Day Afternoon. His producer, Joseph Papp, described him as an amazing intellect, an extraordinary person, and a fine, dedicated artist. Life was good. He was building a great career alongside the love of his life, Meryl Streep. The two of them worked together on The Deer Hunter and other projects, but tragedy soon struck. John was diagnosed with lung cancer just a year into dating Meryl Streep. There was speculation that the disease could have been a result of his history of chain smoking. Despite trying various treatments and protocols, he rapidly declined as the cancer metastasized to his bones. On March 13, 1978, Cazale passed away at the age of 42. Meryl Streep was devastated. She was by his side throughout his illness, providing love and care in his final days. Talking about that dark period in Streep's life, close friend and Godfather co-star Al Pacino said he had never seen a person so devoted to someone who was fading away like Meryl Streep was. To see her in that act of love for this man was overwhelming, he said. Sadly, her love and devotion were not enough to keep tragedy at bay. Meryl Streep greatly mourned the passing of her boyfriend for months. Friends and family worried about her well-being, unsure of how she would move forward. But things were about to change. At some point, after mourning John for months, Meryl Streep decided she needed to start taking steps to get her life back together. The first step she took was to get a new apartment away from the memories in the current apartment she had shared with John. She enlisted the help of her brother to assist with the move. He brought Don Gummer along with him. Their connection was immediate and, though unexpected, they didn't know at the time that it would later become the foundation for one of Hollywood's most enduring relationships. Don Gummer's friendship at that difficult time was the lifeline Meryl Streep desperately needed. At some point in their friendship, Gummer, who had been traveling abroad, offered Streep a place to stay in his loft while she figured out her next steps. They corresponded while he was away through letters and began a romance upon his return. What started as a kind gesture soon turned into something deeper. Their chemistry soon took a different turn. Gummer was warm, kind, and incredibly understanding of what Streep was going through. Unlike the dramatic world of Hollywood, he lived in the art world, where emotions were expressed through sculptures rather than performances. This change of pace may have been exactly what Streep needed, a steady presence in the midst of her overwhelming grief. They spent more time together, and before long, their friendship turned into romance. Gummer provided comfort without pressuring her to move on too quickly. He understood that she was healing and gave her the space to do so. Their bond grew so strong that just 6 months after John's passing, Streep and Gummer decided to marry. To outsiders, the decision seemed rushed, but for Streep, it felt right. She had found someone who accepted her grief, supported her career, and saw her for who she truly was. They married in September 1978 in a quiet ceremony at Streep's parents' home. Meryl Streep and her longtime husband Don Gummer have now been married for 45 years. Unlike many Hollywood weddings, theirs was simple and intimate, attended only by close friends and family. Gummer wasn't a celebrity, and that may have been part of the appeal. Streep didn't have to navigate the pressures of fame in her personal life. During an interview, Streep once described relationships as a negotiation where both partners must be willing to give and take. This could be the perfect description of her relationship with Gummer. He embodied that philosophy. He wasn't interested in the spotlight, which allowed Streep to shine while having a stable, loving home to return to. He also shared her love of art, though in a different medium. While Streep performed on stage and screen, Gummer created sculptures. They respected each other's work and found ways to support each other without interfering in their professional lives. Their love was built on trust, understanding, and a deep emotional connection formed during one of the hardest times in Streep's life. While grief could have kept her closed off, meeting Gummer showed her that love could come in unexpected ways and that sometimes timing doesn't have to be perfect for something to be right. Given the whirlwind of their courtship, many people felt their marriage would be just that, a fleeting whirlwind romance. But the couple would go on to spend the next 45 years together. There's another interesting side to their marriage, the dynamics of their relationship. Hollywood marriages often follow a familiar pattern: one partner's career skyrockets while the other struggles to find balance, usually leading to resentment, distance, or an eventual split. Meryl Streep and Don Gummer's marriage defied this trend. Their partnership thrived without the typical power imbalances seen in many celebrity relationships. Unlike many Hollywood couples where one spouse's success overshadows the other, Streep and Gummer built independent, thriving careers in separate fields. Streep dominated the film industry, winning multiple Oscars and cementing herself as one of the greatest actresses of all time. Meanwhile, Gummer quietly made a name for himself in the art world as a respected sculptor. Gummer was never in Streep's shadow because his work existed outside of Hollywood. Many people are under the misconception that artists are totally different from them. Artists are only totally different from women when they're making their art. He wasn't an actor struggling for roles or an entertainer trying to keep up with a more famous spouse. Instead, he pursued a career that allowed him to flourish on his own terms, eliminating the career competition that often strains Hollywood marriages. Celebrity marriages are often affected by constant media scrutiny, red carpet appearances, and public expectations. Many Hollywood couples rely on their partnership as part of their brand, making them more vulnerable when personal struggles arise. Streep and Gummer avoided this entirely. Gummer had no interest in being part of the Hollywood scene, and Streep never used their marriage for publicity. They rarely gave interviews about their relationship and made minimal red carpet appearances together. By maintaining privacy, they avoided the pressures that often come with being a high-profile couple. Another factor that set their marriage apart was how they structured their home life. In many high-profile relationships, one partner's career demands take precedence, forcing the other to either sacrifice their ambitions or take on a secondary role in the household. That wasn't the case for Streep and Gummer. Streep has spoken about how she balanced her career and family, often choosing roles that allowed her to spend more time at home. Gummer, in turn, maintained his own artistic work while also supporting their household in a way that didn't compromise his identity. They operated as equals, each bringing something valuable to their marriage without one partner feeling left behind. Many Hollywood breakups stem from one partner feeling overlooked or undervalued. In Streep and Gummer's case, this was never an issue because they respected and supported each other's ambitions without resentment. Streep never had to downplay her success to make Gummer comfortable, and Gummer never had to fight for recognition within their marriage. Their ability to remain in separate yet fulfilling professional worlds is a rare dynamic in Hollywood. It's one of the key reasons their marriage lasted decades, proving that two strong careers can coexist without one overshadowing the other. They were able to achieve all of this while still raising kids. Meryl Streep and Don Gummer had 4 children between 1979 and 1991. While Streep's career reached new heights, she and Gummer remained committed to raising their children in a stable, private environment. Interestingly, each birth came with a unique event. Each child's arrival brought its own set of notable moments both personally and professionally. Their first child, Henry, was born in the same year that Kramer vs. Kramer was released, a film that would earn Streep her first Oscar win. The film's storyline was an ironic parallel to her own life at the time. It focused on a mother struggling with her career and family. Not long after Henry's birth, Streep and Gummer decided to move out of New York City, where they had been living. They relocated to Connecticut seeking a quieter environment to raise their son away from the entertainment industry. This was the first move that set the tone for how they would raise all their children. They wanted to prioritize normalcy for their children over the Hollywood spotlight that many actors' children are forced to endure. Henry's early years also coincided with Streep's transition into motherhood while still being one of the most in-demand actresses of her generation. Her ability to balance both roles became a defining feature of her career and family life. Her second child, M, came at a time when Streep had established herself as a dominant force in Hollywood. The year before, she had won her second Oscar for Sophie's Choice, a role that demanded one of the most emotionally intense performances of her career. Around M's birth, Streep was making a conscious effort to slow down and take on roles that allowed her more time at home. While she continued acting, she became more selective, often choosing projects that wouldn't require long absences from her young children. Grace Gummer was born on May 9, 1986. By the time Grace was born, Streep and Gummer were well into their rhythm as parents. Their decision to relocate to a quieter life in Connecticut was beginning to yield good results. Grace's birth also coincided with a turning point in Streep's career, where she was shifting toward more complex, challenging roles. The same year, in 1986, she starred in Heartburn, a film that was partly inspired by real-life events from writer Nora Ephron's own marriage. Streep's role as a woman navigating personal challenges in Heartburn mirrored her real-life experience of juggling career, marriage, and now 3 children. Notably, Grace's birth was followed by Streep's increased involvement in philanthropic causes, particularly those supporting women and children. Motherhood reinforced her passion for advocacy, which she carried throughout her career. Louisa, the youngest of the pack, was born on June 12, 1991. By this time, Meryl Streep was now firmly established in her career and had more flexibility to prioritize family life. Interestingly, the early 90s was also when Streep took on more varied roles. Just after Louisa's birth, she moved into comedy with Death Becomes Her in 1992. Interestingly, her role in this movie was a sharp contrast from the dramatic roles she was known for. Some speculated that her decision to explore different genres was partly influenced by the joy and lightness that came with welcoming her fourth child. By this time, Streep was a global icon, but she and Gummer had perfected the art of keeping their children's lives out of the media. This commitment ensured that Louisa, like her siblings, could grow up without the overwhelming pressures of fame. With each child's arrival, Streep and Gummer adapted their lifestyle to balance work and family. While Streep continued acting, she made deliberate choices to keep her children's lives private, and Gummer provided a stable presence at home. To many people, Don Gummer is simply Meryl Streep's husband, but there is more to this enigmatic man. Let's delve in. Don Gummer is an acclaimed American sculptor whose career spans several decades. While best known to many as Meryl Streep's husband, Gummer has built an impressive legacy in the art world, creating large-scale sculptures that blend abstract and architectural influences. Gummer was born on December 12, 1946, in Louisville, Kentucky, and from childhood, he developed an early interest in art. He pursued formal education in sculpture at the Herron School of Art in Indianapolis before further honing his craft at the School of the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston. His dedication led him to Yale University, where he earned his MFA in 1973. At Yale, he studied under renowned sculptors like David von Schlegel, who influenced his approach to blending geometric precision with organic forms. During the 1970s, Gummer established himself in the New York art scene, gaining recognition for his intricate sculptures that combined metal, wood, and glass. His works were soon displayed in galleries across the country, earning him a reputation as a thoughtful and technically skilled artist. Gummer's artistic career ran parallel to his role as a husband and father. While Meryl Streep dominated the world of film, he remained deeply committed to his work in sculpture, often spending time in his Connecticut studio designing and creating large-scale public installations. His love for art naturally influenced their 4 children, who all pursued careers in creative fields. In fact, one of his children, M, disclosed how her father's passion for art shaped her career decision from her early years. Gummer had begun integrating more art and music into their home, influenced by his mentor's work as a sculptor. For M, growing up in a home where both parents valued artistic expression meant being surrounded by sculptures, paintings, and a philosophy that encouraged creativity. While their mother's world revolved around storytelling and performance, their father's work demonstrated the power of visual artistry and structure, shaping their individual career paths in music, theater, and visual arts. Despite being married to one of the most celebrated actresses in history, Gummer chose to stay out of the Hollywood spotlight. He rarely appeared at red carpet events and maintained a low public profile, preferring to focus on his sculptures rather than celebrity culture. His life, marked by a deep passion for art and a steadfast commitment to family, has been defined by quiet creativity rather than Hollywood glamour. With this rich life full of beautiful memories this couple has shared, it is not difficult to see why their official statement of their separation will end with the promise to continue to care for each other even as they have chosen to lead separate lives. As of now, neither Streep nor Gummer has filed for divorce. Meryl Streep announced over the weekend that she and her husband of 45 years, Don Gummer, have been separated for the last 6 years. Their decision to remain legally married despite their separation suggests a mutual understanding and respect for their long-standing relationship. Without official statements from either party, it remains uncertain whether they intend to pursue a formal divorce in the future. However, recent developments indicate challenges within the family. In February 2025, their eldest daughter, M. Gummer, filed for divorce from her husband, Mihar Sethi, after 6 years of marriage. These events may have a profound emotional impact on the family, although they have maintained a united front publicly. This stunning separation news between Don Gummer and his wife of 45 years, Meryl Streep, really hits hard. If long years together and commitment do not guarantee a lasting marriage, is there really any hope? Does this mean a lasting marriage cannot exist between two people who are career-driven and popular? We would love you to share your opinion in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Also, click the next video shown on your screen, you will enjoy it.